You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, This Week, featuring news and commentary on This Week in Black Hollywood. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live This Week, Dario Kristen.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Black Hollywood Live This Week. I'm your host, Dario Kristen. Here joining me in the studio today is Courtney Stewart.
What's up, everybody?
And DJ Jesse J. The Whisperer.
What up?
On today's show, we're going to cover a variety of different topics, including the death details for Glee star Corey Monteith, Lindsay Lohan and Oprah Winfrey join forces, and the updates on Trayvon Martin's case. But first, we're going to read the results from last week's Buzzer Meter question, which was, will there be a riot if George Zimmerman is acquitted? Well, you guys voted. We know what happened. But yes, 70% of you said yes, and then 28% of you said no, and 2% said NA, not applicable. They must
have said that before the verdict.
Before the verdict, exactly. This week's Buzz Meter question is, should President Obama have spoken out about the Trayvon Martin case today? You guys decide. We'll read the results on next week's show.
Oh, yes.
All right. So first up, we got a lot of trending news to cover on our topics. What do you got for us, Jesse?
So I don't know if you guys, unfortunately, Glee star Corey Monteith passed away actually the same day the verdict for the Trayvon Martin case came out. So it kind of got a little bit overshadowed. But basically they're saying that it was due to overdose with heroin and alcohol mixed together. They got his mixed drug toxicity report back, that there was evidence that he had consistent drug use. He was with 3 people prior. He was just getting ready to move in with Leah Michelle.
Yeah.
And people really didn't expect it. I mean, so there's not too much to say other than it's a shame that someone's so young. And, I don't know if he needed someone to talk to or to hang out with. I mean, he was with 3 people prior to, a couple hours before. So his family asked that everyone in the media please kind of just take a step back and let them figure everything out as well.
Well, it's scary, too, because, we've been reporting about several people, over the last couple of months. It seems to be that it almost feels like it's starting to increase, starting to be more of a trend with a lot of the young celebrities just starting to die young. Or having some type of drug problems that keep hitting the news. I don't know what we're supposed to do about it or what we can do about it, but it has to be some type of change because we're losing a lot of really talented people.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, too, because it's kind of like a Heath Ledger story.
Yeah.
They said that he was just wrapping up on a movie that he was filming in which he played a drug addict. So, hopefully that was
not something. Well, as an actor, he's
really
probably
don't know what you
tapping
say
into
to
some
that.
of those dark places. So maybe that wasn't the best idea. Having just come back out of rehab earlier this year, I don't know, but it's unfortunate.
He's been on drugs since he was 13.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
But, all right, let's move on to something a little more positive. Nas, 39-year-old Nas.
Go Nas.
Doing it up. Was at Harvard University recently.
Oh, wow.
The Ivy League school has a program. It's called the Hip Hop Archive. It was established in Harvard in 2002. And the fellowship assists students who excel in the arts, especially in hip hop. So Nas was actually honored by the fellowship this week. So congratulations to Nas.
Good for him.
Us.
I was like, wait, so he just performed there? But then as I read on, I was like, oh, he really got recognized at Harvard.
That's big.
Go
He better
Harvard.
do it. Speaking of being recognized, shout out to Kelly Rowland because she's doing it up as well. She is the new face of Jaguar.
Wow.
Yeah, so Kelly, she's had tons of other things. She's done CoverGirl. She's done, I think it was Rolex or Timex. And now she tweeted, cruising in my F-Type Jaguar USA shooting commercial. The Jag is everything super sexy. So obviously this is coming on to her new role on USA X Factor. So they're expecting her to get a couple other endorsements this year as well.
She's
as
like the
Jag.
endorsement
That
queen.
money, girl.
I feel like she keeps getting, she keeps the checks coming in different angles. Good for her.
And I mean, you would never think Jag, but that's a real classy, cute look for her.
It
Yeah.
worked out.
It makes me want her to be like a Bond woman, actually. Like a James Bond. I know
don't
that's
go
like
that
so...
far.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go that far yet.
I'm down
I
for
ain't
it.
going that far.
All right, fine.
I
I'll
ain't
just
going
be
that
there by
far.
myself.
She can sing about it.
I saw him Freddie
That's
versus.
it.
I'm still on her Freddie versus Jason role, so
Oh, you know what?
My point.
You know what I mean?
You
So-
know what? You're right. I let this picture
Yeah,
take
you got a
everything
little
out of me
excited,
right now.
and I love
Imagery
me
is
some
great.
Kelly Rowland,
You
but you
right.
got a
You
little
gotta
excited
be
over there,
able
Jesse.
to act
You
too.
stepped too quickly on that one.
You're right.
Yeah,
All right, so let's move on to the bigger topic today. There was a music journalist. Her name is Kathy Landoli, and she wrote this very long article about white women in hip hop music. And more so being that hip hop music is kind of, are they idolizing white women, or how are white women in hip hop music kind of put together? She goes on to say this. She examines everything from being a white girl, from being used as for a drug reference, as well as being just the idolized female in a video. So she goes back to 1992, talking about Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back. She said, it started here. Started from the bottom, and now we're here. Basically referring to the two white girls at the beginning of the movie who were like, oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. Obviously, let's remember the word Becky, because that comes later on in her article. She said the video zones in on a pair of white women disgusted by the size of black women's derriere. She said somewhere in between that moment and right now, mainstream rap has switched its focus on white women from mockery to manipulation. She said, but as rap music and white women fade color lines, who is really winning? White girl is more recent used for cocaine. Before rap shifted its tax bracket, cocaine was the primary means of income for many rappers. She says there's an idolism that presents itself in calling your moneymaker white girl. She goes on to say, 2006, Gym Class Heroes released a track, Viva La White Girl, showing admiration for both white women and the drug. I think that one's kind of pulling it a little too far.
That might be, yeah.
So then she goes on to say, talking about the new drug is MDMA. It's rap's latest drug, christened as the name Molly, a historically Caucasian name. It's no coincidence that rappers connect these drugs with white women and also white females in hip-hop, such as writers, singers, and songwriters like Dido, Skylar Grey, Lana Del Rey, and even Katy Perry have been placed on pedestals by rappers, using these women to advance them in their mainstream music. And then in April, Disney pop alum Miley Cyrus released a video of herself twerking, in which all the hip-hop artists said, hey, that white girl can dance. And now she's on stage with Juicy J, as well as having Diplo request twerking competitions, where Miley is dancing is no different than Two Live Crew's dancers in 1990, which was banned in the USA and had Tipper Gore on suicide watch. She said, are white girls the gateway drug to eliminating censorship? Or do they set the tone for all black culture? She said Cyrus has just evolved into a sensation like Psy, 50 Tyson, but will her sudden merging into black acceptance allow her start using the N-word? I understand some things in this article, because honestly, I do, when they use things such as using certain pop stars or white females, but I don't say just white females, though, because I look at it, if they hop on a track with Rihanna, you're kind of throwing yourself into it. But as far as when you do it with a white girl, it makes it okay. I mean, I can't front with the Two Live Crews, situation with the twerking from that to now Miley Cyrus does, and it's cute for little 5-year-old girls to do it now.
I mean, here's the thing. I agree with some of the things the article has to say too, but at the end of the day, the music industry is about making money. You're going to go with what's relevant at that moment. We saw it start to kind of transition when Britney Spears hooked up with Pharrell and the Neptunes and she did I'm a Slave for You. It started to kind of push that white girl mainstream cool, where you saw like the Britney Spears or Christina Aguilera's, all them teaming up with these different artists. It's about making money. And so it used to be where it was offensive to have the light-skinned women in the videos. So now it's the white women in the videos. But at the end of the day, it's about making money. So, you know, I think what's I don't know if there's a solution to the problem because.
So it kind of does make sense in what she's referencing as far as making money and selling the drugs and considering the white girls are what makes the money musically and the white drugs is what makes them money.
Well, I just don't know if it glorifies white women, kind of what the article seemed like it was saying a little bit, because music glorifies what's hot at that moment. So if a white girl's hot at that moment, then that's kind of what is being glorified. If it's a model that's hot at that moment, or a certain, you know,
Because
whatever, it's
kinda
whatever is hot at that moment. You
It's
disagree?
I don't disagree. I mean, it is what it is. I do think the basis of all of this is money, and she's intellectualizing something that I think is some truth and a lot of subconscious that we don't actually sort of deal with. And I think that it's more about the sort of sexualization that is sort of acceptable, which is not a good thing for white women any more than it was a good thing for black women who were the video hoes like back in the 90s when that was a
Very
big
true.
deal. So, and to the leap with the song from the 90s that I'm
Two
losing,
Live
Live Crew. That was a different time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sexually, we are much more accepting of crudeness, so to
Yeah.
speak, nowadays than we would have been back then. But I do think it's an interesting thing to look at that we are so okay with Miley twerking and little girls twerking because now it's cute as opposed to it being sexual.
And
True.
So
I mean, that's true.
I think that it is a commentary on some stuff, but I don't know how much it is necessarily glorifying white women or if it's just more objectification of women in general.
Yeah, I would say that would be a better argument
Yeah.
than glorifying white women.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it even brings it to almost okay. Well, now you're just proving that our culture as a whole is very racist, and the fact that if Nicki Minaj was to have started the twerking thing first, it probably wouldn't have popped off the way it did, but it took that white girl to do it for the majority of America to say, oh, this is cute and it's funny.
Right.
And I think also they put it in a different value category, sort of like the fact that Miley did it as opposed to a black woman doing it. Something about it makes it dirty because a black woman did it, but when Miley did it, it made it cute.
Yeah.
So I think that distinction is a little bit of a problem and something that's not necessarily apparent on the surface that we should probably evaluate a little
Yeah.
bit. But I don't know if Miley should be twerking anyway. So it's just
Well, and then my other thing is too, like you said, Courtney, is that it was a different time period with the Luke Skywalker, the Luke videos and the Luke songs.
dancers.
But
You gonna say Luke Skywalker?
but now we're at a different place. I think. I mean, I think we've grown a lot since then. I'm not saying it's perfect. We still got a lot to grow with, but it's a different time period, and how we categorize things and collaborations are different too. You know, you have the big A-listers. You know, we got a new movie coming out with Mark Wahlberg and Denzel Washington. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about the collaborations of the white and black and kind of putting them together. So I think that this article has some basis to it, but I also think that some of it is still referencing older things that we have gone through, that I think those things are changing a little bit too.
difficult, but an interesting subject.
But an interesting subject
nonetheless.
nonetheless.
Something to think
We could
about.
go on and on and on about that
Lots
one.
to think about.
But speaking of change, maybe you guys, after you guys are done watching Black Hollywood Live, you feel like changing the YouTube channel. Well, you guys can do that by visiting AfterBuzzTV.com, and you can find it's one of the best places to go for your favorite TV shows. Make sure you guys check out AfterBuzzTV.com. As soon as you finish watching your favorite TV show, head over to the website, and we're probably talking about your favorite show, as well as making sure that you guys go onto iTunes and check out The Adventures of Serial Buddies. It's a movie produced by the creators of Black Hollywood Live and AfterBuzz TV. It's a hysterical cult classic comedy. I was
Check
like,
it out.
wait a minute, I'm tongue tie right there. The Adventures of Serial Buddies on iTunes. Make sure you guys check it out. Please help support us here at Black Hollywood Live.
Yeah.
All right, nice, Jesse. Gossip and rumors, Courtney. What you got for us?
Gossip and rumors this week. So we are talking about the merging of the black folks and the white folks. Well, guess what? One of the biggest black folk and the craziest white folks in the world have come together for a collaboration. We have Lindsay Lohan and Oprah.
Which is actually kind of funny because Lindsay Lohan is in hip hop used as a term for coke too.
Yes.
That is
That's
true.
funny.
Yeah.
Because she was a crazy cokehead.
Well, yes.
But Anywho, Lindsay has sat down with the Big O, and they have come to a nice little deal for a next career move, so to speak, for Lindsay as she exits rehab and comes back into the real world. So for $2 million, Miss Lilo will be doing a 8-part docu-series, aka reality show, on the OWN network.
Saw that.
And the Big O will be providing her 2 assistants and a stylist. So we're going to follow her as she comes out of rehab and starts to reestablish her life and try to get things together. And her mom thinks that this is Lindsay Lohan's mom, aka Dina Lohan, aka the Orange Oprah.
The Orange Oprah, that's what they do call her.
The Orange Oprah thinks that this will be a great influence on Lindsay and that working with Oprah will be a great mentor for Lindsay.
Wait a minute. Did I miss something? Why is she called the Orange Oprah?
She considered herself Oprah-like back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
what
was gonna
she
get a
called him.
talk. Yeah, she was
Yeah, and
getting a
then
talk show.
kind of like the media got a wind
Got a
of
hold of
it,
it
and it
and
was like her
turned it
whole
into the
thing.
thing.
Yeah, when she did
But-
articles, it was always
Okay.
Orange Oprah.
Yes. So it should
And the
be,
spray tan.
The
Yeah,
spray, yeah.
the spray tan.
Yeah. So it should be fascinating. I think I will be tuning in.
I will too.
But yeah, I mean, maybe she will come out on top after this. Maybe something great could happen, and she'll.
Well,
get
would
it
you
together.
prefer to see this, or would you have preferred to have seen a kind of tell-all where she
Oh,
came out and sat down with Oprah and talked really?
I think that would
talked
be
in depth?
boring because I don't think she'd actually like disclose.
That's exact. I think it would be like
Really?
the Beyonce one.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
rather see this type of format
Yeah.
because we've seen it already, the other formats with Oprah. I'd rather see this train wreck kind of
Yes,
unveil itself.
And hopefully, like Oprah really allows it to happen.
Yeah.
I think.
And I think
'Cause
she will.
I think that
She will.
she's gonna be treading in some territory where maybe she's not comfortable
Yeah.
based on what OWN is trying to be and continuing to be. But I hope she really lets it all hang out, as they say.
Well, and hopefully it guides Lindsay in a good way. Maybe Oprah can be the one to save Lindsay.
I mean, I would love for her to get her life on track and get
And do a
back to
Bond
acting and do a
movie.
great movie.
And be the comeback queen.
Because that would be like the comeback of
Centuries.
centuries.
Yeah.
Like,
you would be legendary, Lindsay.
but
And it's a smart move for Oprah too.
It is a
She
smart
keeps.
move.
You know what?
Keep
You know
pulling
she
in
is
the
keeping
ratings,
those
girl.
ratings for OWN.
do what you got to do.
Do what you gotta do.
Keeping it happening. Speaking of which, we've got another situation, I guess, that has been going on for quite some time. Some friends, not so much frenemies going on. So Timbaland has been talking about his relationship with Jay-Z. Obviously, they apparently have had a falling out years ago, Blueprint 3. There's all kinds of, they're kind of going back and forth about what
Yeah.
really happened. Like, Tim kind of said it was personal, it wasn't business related. And then Jay-Z was like, no, it's just because songs were leaked and he just wasn't happy and he had to grow up and that kind of thing. But either way, Tim has come out and said he's working on his new album, the new Shock Value, and he has written a apology song. And he has put Miss Carrie Hilson on it also. And basically, he's rapping, apologizing to Jay for all that they went through and for all that he was doing because he had missed Jay-Z's 40th birthday, even though Jay-Z sent him a gift. And of course, some of you may or may not know, Miss Carrie Hilson has been getting a lot of flack from the Beyonce fans,
Yeah.
aka the Beehive.
The
because
beehives.
She's been getting
Miss
stoned.
Carrie, baby, has been over quite a bit of time making some comments that seemed like she was kind of going in for Beyonce. And she claims that none of that was ever true, that she never said anything referencing Beyonce, but people took comments that she made and blew them up and made it about Beyonce, but it was never her. But she is apologizing to Beyonce on the apology.
Yeah, but what was that whole thing where she was at the Soul Train Awards and they wanted her to hold up what is the Juicy
A magazine
cover?
and
was
say,
it Juicy cover of one
"Happy
of those magazines?
birthday to
Happy birthday,
Beyonce."
Beyonce, and
happy
she
birthday,
refused
Beyonce.
to
Exactly,
hold the magazine
honey.
up.
Exactly, honey.
Okay, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be
Okay,
devil's
you're gonna be
advocate, but then I'm a
devil's
slammer
advocate.
too.
Okay.
So, devil's advocate is if people were taking things out of context that you were saying and referring them to Beyonce, like Sierra goes through the same problem. If you Google Sierra versus Beyonce,
Yes.
there's some funny,
can-
hilarious
yes.
videos, but it's like never in my life, and I've followed both Sierra and Beyonce, heard Sierra say anything trying to come for Beyonce.
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe Carrie, in her mind, was like, all these people are taking these things and putting it into a big thing. And she kind of felt like the interviewer was trying to come for her with the magazine. I could see that. But if you are not guilty and you feel like everything was taken out of context, why are you writing an apology song?
That's what I'm
It's
saying.
too late to apologize.
And all I can say also is that yes, maybe your Twitter was taken out of context, which is very easy to do. You
Very
know,
easy.
we only have a few characters, and and she never specifically referenced Beyonce. However, that situation on the red carpet, the remix of that song that I can't remember, "Turning Me On."
Turn me on.
Wait, why?
Yeah.
What was that? with
Do you remember
Beyonce.
some,
She had a couple
let's bring up
lyrics.
some
Yeah.
lyrics real
Really?
quick. Okay. Your vision is cloudy if you think you the best. You can dance, she can sing, but she need to move it to the left. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're right. You know what?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But boo, you were
She-
coming for Beyonce. And it goes on and
Wait, I love how you swish back the hair when
Sorry,
you
I
made
had to
that
pull the hair out
statement,
of the
too.
face. Yes, honey, you came for Beyonce, and I'm one of those people that can give you the benefit of the doubt. But
She
you
came
were
for
hating.
Beyonce.
You came for a girl.
She
But
just-
it's okay.
just
You're
so good.
apologizing.
I mean, at the end of the day, though, it's kind of like in hip hop that would be kind of looked at as dope, like lyrically. You,
it is dope.
You came for her.
But don't front. But own your shit.
Right, but
That's
own
all
it.
I
Yeah,
have to
own
say
it.
about
You gotta
that.
own it.
Like,
You can't-
let the
you can't-
beehive sting and be
Yeah.
like, yes, bitch, I have raid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
Because
raid.
Yes.
She got super sensitive on Twitter when they were coming for her. Like, you don't know what these
She cried,
comments
I
are
believe,
doing
yeah.
to people's emotions and spirits, and it's awful. And I'm like, it's
Girl,
Twitter, boo.
calm
Calm
down.
down.
Yeah.
But anyway,
All right.
the song will be out on the new Shock Value album. You guys can check it out. And in the end, Jay-Z and Timbo are buddies again. And that's what's really important. Next up, we got some more haterade floating all over the planet, apparently. So, Mr. LL Cool J was talking on Diddy's Revolt station, and he made a comment about Jay-Z's new album, Magna Carta. And sorry, guys, I'm super blind right now, so I'm going to have to pull this up so I can read it. His comment was this. For me as an artist, I still want to be able to touch the people individually. Numbers are numbers, and the numbers is truth. But in terms of touching the people, it's a little different. It still matters to me that people individually went out and bought my record. Although I still think a million sold is a million sold, but for me, I like to know that a million people bought my record. Not a company bought a million copies of my record. Well,
Well,
Well, just let me know when I can weigh in.
I'm sorry, but last time I checked, having a company buy a million of your albums in the digital age when it's hard to sell albums is kind of dang brilliant. But that's just my
I
opinion.
agree.
I feel like LL is struggling to sell albums now. I don't feel like, and he might be a little bitter in that sense, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say this. What Jay-Z did was genius and is going to change music.
For sure.
Now,
Absolutely.
I want to speak about what LL said about Jay-Z not touching his fans. And that, just because you release a CD in a store, you're touching fans differently. That I don't agree with that at all, because honestly, it probably would have taken me a little bit longer to actually go out and purchase the Magna Carta. But I got my Samsung phone, and I didn't even know Jay-Z had done. I knew he was the new face of Samsung. I didn't know he sold all them albums to Samsung,
Yeah.
and that I was going to be able to. Actually, I was with you that night.
Yep.
And as soon as I found out I could download Jay-Z's album for free, I mean, that done touched me. It's been a minute since
my heart.
it touched my heart. It
Got
touched
your
my
little-
pockets.
Got your little warm inside.
It touched my pockets. So I just think LL Cool J's.
That's haterade, man.
No, I don't know if it's haterade. I just think he's
haterade.
stuck in a different time, which makes sense because he used to be selling albums, like
Yeah.
legit vinyl records.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, to go through all these changes from vinyl records to cassette tapes to CDs, he probably don't. He's old now. He don't really be understanding
You are
that.
stupid.
Okay, LL Cool J is not
understand
that
it
old.
real well.
Jay-Z and LL are in the same
age
camp.
bracket.
It's
All
a
right.
joke.
I just think that maybe LL, he got a lot of backlash off of that last little cameo he did on the what's the country song,
the country song,
guy,
was it Brad Paisley?
Yep.
Brad Paisley. He got a little slack off of that, and I think that his albums are not selling like they used to. Maybe he should keep
Consider
doing
a deal.
keep doing what he's doing as far as the hosting and
Acting.
acting. That's his lane. So but I mean, he's been in the game for a long time, so he probably has a personal little opinion.
I mean, I will give him credit. I will say, even though I do think it's haterade, because I think that the way he said it which I mean, it was quoted. Maybe it was taken.
I think
a little
it
bit
could
out
have
of
been
If
taken
you
out of
watched
context.
the interview, honestly, I think it was taken a little.
It could have been taken out of
context.
context, so I will give him that. And I do give him the fact that technically he's OG in the game. He can say
Right,
what
he can say what he
wants,
want, right.
So
And
yeah.
and LL does not typically. I've really never heard him talk
No.
smack about people. So I feel
But
like
he
this is
wasn't
probably
talking smack. It's just honestly, what I say is he is from a different generation, and yes, him and Jay-Z are
But in terms of
the
rap,
same range.
in terms
But
of rap,
right?
you mean. Yeah.
LL has gone, like I said, through records, through tapes, CDs. Like he's experienced all this. So for him to get his mind around another generation of something that he's never even probably thought to do, because what artist has, other than Jay-Z being the first to do it, I think he just responded honestly. Because in a way, it is kind of, I used to say the same thing about iTunes. Like, nah, come on. If someone goes out and buys the record, that is more meaningful than, hitting click on iTunes. When iTunes and MP3 first came out, I used to be that person. I'm not stubborn about it. I'm a DJ. And then when I started realizing, like, oh, wait a minute, actually, I don't got to go to the store to go get this.
Right.
And it's
Right
cheaper.
now.
Hold up, 99 cents right here. So I just think he's kind of stuck in that generational situation.
I mean, that might be true, but he's LL, so whatever. All right,
Keep
on to
being
the
LL,
next.
Keep licking them lips. Next up, so we got a little more serious
God.
thing kind of going on right now. The Rolling Stone cover that features the Boston bomber, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, which I say wrong every time. So the Rolling Stone's getting some backlash. 7-Eleven stores all over Boston are snatching the magazine from the rack and refusing to sell it. 7-Eleven owned stores are, and some franchise stores are also snatching
Kroger's.
a magazine from the racks, basically saying that they just think it is the most utter disrespect to profile this guy who bombed a city and make him look like a rock star on the cover of a magazine. And the editors of Rolling Stone released a statement in regards to the cover, and they said, the cover we are publishing this week falls within the traditions of journalism and Rolling Stone's long-standing commitment to serious and thoughtful coverage. The fact that Dzhokhar Tsarnaev is young and in the same age group as many of our readers makes it all the more important for us to examine the complexities of this issue and gain a more complete understanding of how a tragedy like this happens. So there you have it. My opinion is simple. You should have picked a different picture.
Yeah, I actually, that's what I was going to say. It's in all reference to the picture. To me, this picture, when I look at it, looks like a glorification of like a rocker, like Jim Morrison from back in the day.
That's who I was trying to remember.
or some current rock band. He looks cool in this picture. And it's focused so much on his face, and his hair's done. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like he has had a stylist for this picture.
Yeah.
And so I think that just overall, in the sensitivity of what happened, is just a wrong choice.
Yeah.
I get it. That's going to cause us to talk about it, everybody else to talk about it on the street. And as many people who take it off the shelf, there's going to be that much many people who probably buy it to see it. But it's a bad choice. I think it's tasteless a little bit, personally.
My opinion totally just changed within this whole conversation, honestly. I was so against it at first. But listening to what they said, and also before we started the show, we were going through some of the older Rolling Stone covers in which they do cover different
Some
murderers and
controversial
Right.
people.
It's funny that we're judging this picture and we're saying all this stuff, but that's him. This is just a normal picture of this kid. And almost, to play devil's advocate, is kind of important to look at it and say, because it's like when we talk about rapists and killers and things like that, you don't picture a really attractive, handsome man or a really young, beautiful girl being that person. And to put this up here, and we're all sitting here like, oh, he looks like a rock star, he looks attractive, No, that's the bomber. That's someone that you see every single day. You can't judge anybody. You can't judge one specific person. So I don't know. I can see both sides of it. I think, again, with Courtney, it should have been a picture of
Yeah,
him in jail being arrested.
I'm not opposed to the picture that they have. I just think there should have been a juxtaposition to what he became.
Right.
And I think that just to have that picture communicates something very strong that is not even noticed. That yes, they have the bomber underneath it in
But the
huge
bomber of
print,
what?
but it's taken away the gravity of what this person did. And we're in a place where it still is very recent.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't even been convicted of his crimes yet.
Right.
So I just, at this point, if you were going to do this, like, I feel like there needed to be some sort of, I mean, I don't know if it was just a dark halo that they put behind him or something that communicated something else other than this angelic person looking like the Jim Morrison cover to
Yeah.
me. Like, and that's what I saw. Because when I first saw it, I was like,
Yep.
who is that? Oh, really? Yeah. So I understand the argument, but I also respect and honor what they are saying and trying to do even based on what you said, your interpretation of the picture is at this point. It's true. It could be anybody.
It could be
and how
anybody.
did it turn so bad in this person that seems like
But my
anybody
argument for
else?
that though is that yes, even Rolling Stone has been around for years and years and years and years. I know that I'm sure they have like probably a very adult readership, but there's also young kids who watch
is
this.
what they
So if a
got.
young kid sees this, a young
I can be on the
teenager,
cover of Rolling
this
Stone.
this isn't to me. It paints a different picture.
Especially
it
the
makes
culture that we live in
The
today
culture we
about
live in. This looks
glamorization.
cool. You know what I mean? Like this can look cool. So I still disagree with the choice of image of what they chose. If, like you said, we saw a lot of things on CNN and on the news when this all happened, and he didn't look like that in those
Nope.
pictures that they chose. So I would have rather seen that with the captions that they use versus this picture of him looking all rock starred out. That's my personal opinion. So
It be what it be, and it's on the shelf somewhere. But everybody's got their justification for
Yes.
something. So
yes.
read it, learn something. Maybe we can change something in the future.
Yes. Speaking of learning and changing, we would like for you guys to go to iTunes and rate and comment our Black Hollywood Live shows. We have several shows. We have, let's see, this week we have Portraits, we have Stand Up Sit Down, we have Fashion 411. We would definitely love to see you guys go into iTunes and rate and comment for us. We read all those comments. We make sure that we pay attention to everything you guys are saying so we can continue to build great shows for you. So we like 5 stars, but if you have something else to say, we want to know that as well. So go to iTunes and give us a quick comment. All right, on to this week's Hot Topics. Well, this is one subject that has continued to stay in the media. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, especially with the verdict. It's the George Zimmerman trial, which we found out this week he was acquitted on the case. Shocked many people, I would say. There's a lot, well, I should say there was mixed opinions, but many were shocked
Many
in that
were
mixed
shocked.
opinion. We had a surprise speech today given by our president. We have a quick clip that we're going to show you guys in reference to that. But before we show that clip, one thing I will say that I love about it is that he referenced that he was just like Trayvon Martin, which that's what this clip will kind of give you a little bit of example for. So can you roll that for us?
There are very few African American men in this country who haven't had the experience of being followed when they were shopping in a department store. That includes me. There are very, very few African American men who haven't had the experience of walking across the street and hearing the locks click on the doors of cars. That happens to me, at least before I was a senator. There are very few African Americans who haven't had the experience of getting on an elevator and a woman clutching her purse nervously and holding her breath until she had a chance to get off. That happens often.
I just love him for even giving this speech today, to be honest with you. As we saw from the clip, he referenced the fact of how what happened to Trayvon Martin could happen and does happen continuously to a lot of African American men, him included. He even said that Trayvon could have been him 35 years ago. I'm sure you guys saw the full speech today. What were your thoughts about it? Do you think that he should have commented on the case?
I feel like he had no choice but to comment on something that so strongly seems to be a divisive force in the country right now, because there are large groups of people that are pissed off that it was a not guilty verdict and that nobody seems to recognize that profiling is still happening and not okay. And then there's a large portion of people that are like, it's not about race. it is about race. But obviously that's my opinion. And I think that President Obama has done a very good job at something very difficult, being the first black president and not being black for
Right.
everybody all the time. And it's hard when people don't accept that blackness in this country informs so much about your existence, your perceptions, how you take things in, because there's a very, very specific and unique experience about black people in America that we seem to just want to pretend like doesn't exist. And it's frustrating to me because the sooner we admit that it exists, we actually would get past it.
Yeah.
We actually could get past it. And I think that people don't want to see things as a crutch because this country is built on being able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and this whole idea of the individual can do anything. And nobody's saying that that doesn't exist, but there are still caveats along the way that occur to people of color that do not occur to people with white skin privilege. And President Obama has never brought that into the conversation.
No.
And it's pretty amazing that he's been able to get along this far into his second presidency and not had to bring it up. And I think for him to have not brought it up would have been a disservice
Yeah.
to everyone, even though many people out there, Ari Fleischer included, that want to make this speech that he gave something that makes it for black people, not for everyone. But if you actually really pay attention to what he says in the speech, he simply said it's a chance for us to actually look at this stuff,
Yep.
talk about it, and deal with it.
It's
and
awareness.
stop.
It happens.
Thank
It's
you.
awareness.
It's
It's letting
awareness.
everyone
And
know.
if I'm the face that can make that happen, look at me, know that I could have been that person,
Yeah.
and now what do you think?
Yeah.
And I just can't, I don't understand anybody that says otherwise.
Well, and,
There.
and I think it's important too, off of what you're saying, Courtney, because a lot of times, unfortunately, the public puts certain black people in different categories.
Yes.
A person like a President Obama or someone who they say is articulate is not put in the same category as a
Exactly.
Trayvon Martin, which we all know is not
Not
the
the
case.
truth.
Not the truth. You can be the same black man rolling in your Mercedes down whatever,
they will pull you over.
and you are a doctor. So it is what it is. But I thought it was very important for this too, because a lot of people were saying, it was whispers like, will Obama speak? Will he not speak? Especially with the potential civil suit that's being played around with right now towards George Zimmerman. I felt that it was very respectable for him to come out and give the speech that he did, and still kept it very PC.
Yes.
But he delivered what he needed to deliver.
PC, but still very personal and
Yes.
on. Yeah.
And I like that it took him this long to come out and do something like this because it proves we obviously can visually see he is the first black president.
Yes.
But the fact that he didn't have to go out and about and make it that. I mean, I say the same thing for, gay pride. It's like, why does there have to be a parade just to say that I'm this?
Right.
So the fact that he kept it this way for so long, and then it took this type of an event to happen and him to speak out, and exactly like you said, this is just a platform for everybody to hear what just happened, because a lot of people are happy about this verdict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think that's happy, then fine, you got your verdict, but you need to understand
Why this child died.
right and why racism couldn't be brought into the courtroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. And
Yeah.
go ahead, because we're going to talk about it. Because
Well,
I just
no, hey.
have been I literally
Flow,
talk
let
about
it
this
go.
case every day because it's just it blows my mind that that everything happened with this case with the jurors, and that they had Rachel, the girl that was on the phone with Trayvon at the time. She was on, who were we talking about? Piers Morgan.
Piers Morgan.
And she came out and said, I don't know what people wanted me to give them. She said, I went out there, I was nervous the night before, I didn't sleep. I mean, this is the way I talk, like, I was as honest as I could be. I gave the same answer every single time because that's the only thing that I know. And then here are people picking on me because of my size, because of my color, of my skin, because of the way I speak. But we can't say racism. Right. And then at the end of the day, you guys listened to my story and said, we don't believe her. Blows my mind.
Yeah.
I think it was fascinating too. They were speaking to one of the jurors who wants to remain anonymous still.
Yeah.
And it was brought to her attention. I believe Anderson Cooper was speaking to her. I'm not positive, but I think it was Anderson Cooper. And brought to her attention that in reference to Zimmerman, she referred to him as George frequently.
Yeah.
In reference to Trayvon or Rachel Jeantel, she would say they. That's how they do. That's what they do in their community. Like there was no connection to who they actually were because she related to George, because George's fears are probably her fears, and that's why they were able to come to the conclusions that they came to. Whatever. I don't disagree with the verdict based on what I heard about the trial, because I think legally they did what they could do. I don't think they had the evidence they needed to convict him, even though I would have liked it to be the case. But it sucks.
Wait, but okay, here's the thing though. What I don't understand. Maybe you guys can piece it together to me, because the people I was speaking to, they couldn't. But for me, the evidence is listening to what George's story was, okay? And now let's put the other pieces together. The kid had damn Skittles and a Sprite.
Right.
How many people are doing home invasion?
But he didn't know
Yeah,
that. So the point, I think the biggest point of contention, which this juror also mentioned when she was talking about when they had to come to the final decision, was that did he legitimately, was it possible that he legitimately felt fear for his life,
threatened,
whether
right.
or not
But he
put
had a
himself-
gun.
He may have put himself in that position. He may have had a gun, but did he feel like his life was threatened? If he felt like his life was threatened based on the laws in that state, he was justified in what he did. And there was no way for the prosecution had like the worst uphill battle ever
Yeah.
to try to prove that beyond a
That was the
reasonable
biggest
doubt.
point,
There
yeah.
was no possibility that he did not feel fear. Because I actually do believe he probably did feel afraid. It may have been completely unjustified and completely rooted in prejudice and racism, but he felt fear.
But my thing is oh my god, it's just so crazy. Okay, I could go to Florida and walk through I mean, there have been times I went to Florida with my friend, and back then I had my ears pierced and I looked very Puerto Rican, and I felt scared, so I could have just gone up in there and started shooting people.
Well, don't go to Florida.
That's the
That's
sort of where we are.
That's where
Like,
we're gonna go a little bit later on these
where are
topics.
we with
but
that?
don't
Can we
go to
just
Florida.
start I'm gonna say it. Can we just start a fuck Florida movement?
Well, you would be adding with several other people who
Other
are
people
doing
who
that
have
right
said
now.
at Florida this week.
Well, just kind of in reference to what you're saying, Trayvon's parents have been doing the media circuits as well. They were on CNN, they were on the CBS morning show, and his mother, Sabrina Fulton, and his father, Tracy Martin, are in complete shock, first of all, with the verdict. They said that they really thought that George was going to be found guilty.
Yeah.
And as you know, there are different opinions on that, what people really thought. But they were also saying that they think some of the reason why it went the other way is because George really never got hit up on the stand. You know, like he was never really interrogated. You know, and his mom thinks that would have made a difference in the case, and I have to
That's
agree
why
with her.
he didn't get on the stand.
You know, there had to be some way where they could have got him up there. You know, so
It is within your rights not to testify against yourself.
yes.
That's the country we live in.
That's the country we live in, and you know, as you were mentioning, kind of boycotts, boycotting Florida. There have been several people who are public figures who are boycotting Florida right now. One is Reverend Al Sharpton, who is starting a 100-city rally to push for the civil suit against George Zimmerman. It's all taking place this weekend. It's going to hit all the major cities, but he's also going to go around to 100 different cities. So he's in strong support of protesting what we know as the verdict. In addition to that, we have Stevie Wonder, who was doing a concert in Quebec, and upon doing the concert in the middle of the show, he received the verdict of George Zimmerman being found not guilty. He stopped the show, gave a speech, and he said that he actually, you know, was really disappointed and that he would not be doing a show in Florida. I think we have a little bit of a clip of that as well, of him performing during the concert, that we can load up for you guys.
That until the stand your ground law is abolished in Florida, I will never perform there again.
Now, a lot of artists and public figures are banding together to support this case and support that George Zimmerman probably needs to have some type of civil suit applied to him. What do you guys feel about that? I mean, do you think that that's something that the media is saying that it's probably going to be a long shot?
Yeah.
Just because of the way the case kind of panned out. But what do you guys think about that? Do you think that it needs to be more rallying together to get the community together to really push for some type of civil suit against George Zimmerman?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess the NAACP already has like 1 million signatures
Yeah,
on
they say 1 million
their
signatures.
petition. But I think it's great to rally around it. Whether or not that will actually happen, I don't actually think it will. I don't think there's enough grounds, but I could be very wrong. I don't know all the details. But I would ideally like it to be a conversation about the stand your ground laws, the gun laws, and profiling.
Yeah.
And that's, I think that, because dealing with George Zimmerman is dealing with an isolated case. And it's one of those things where you feel like somebody should be punished because however you slice it legally, a wrong was done.
For sure.
And somebody should have to be punished because of that. Accident or not accident, he probably didn't intend to kill him, whatever, but you would like something to be done about it. Legally, there's not something based on the justice system that we accept as a part of our culture. But it would be amazing if, I would actually almost be a little bit okay with it if he spoke and acted like he had remorse and actually cared that he killed a child.
I agree. Yeah, I don't see a lot of remorse from him.
And I know his brother does not speak for him, but his brother was all over the media circuit.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah.
And he was so, and I know they've been through a lot, and I know they are looking over their shoulders all the time, so I'm not taking that away from them. But somebody's child is dead, and not once have any of them, other than, well, we sent our condolences to Trayvon Martin's family. There has never been an energy of true and honest
Breakdown.
like
Paula Deen gave
sympathy.
him more.
like sympathy.
Yeah.
Like I God knows I did not mean for that to happen. Like if there was some sort of sincereness in that, it may be in a better place, and he could be a person that was the platform to be like, you know what, something made me choose that guy and think that was okay. We need to work that out. But he's not doing any of that. He's in hiding, which I get because somebody's probably going to try to kill him.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't, it's so sad.
With the rallies, all I really hope that happens is exactly like you said, it opens up the conversations to the other laws that need to be changed, but does also still kind of install a fear in him that my life really isn't going to ever be the same. I'm sure he already has that in him, but to kind of have the after effect where you felt like, oh, they said not guilty, whew, it's all done. No, it's not.
It continues from there. It continues.
And
from there.
I don't. There was a moment where I did say, hey, you know what? Hey, if someone sees you on the street, like street justice. But I do hope no harm comes to him, because I think the biggest harm for him is the guilt of having to live with it and see it every day.
Yeah.
If it exists. Because
Yeah,
I'm
that's
concerned
true.
that it doesn't exist.
yeah.
Like, I really think he feels, at least based on the people that are communicating on his behalf. And I feel like
And
if,
paying on his behalf.
Yeah,
And paying, right.
Because if he legit felt like, I think he would try to control like what's specifically coming out of his brother's mouth a lot more, because his brother really was going in on the whole, he didn't do it. He's been found not guilty. Being found not guilty just means there wasn't evidence to convict you, not that there was not some wrong committed. There was a wrong committed because the kid is dead, and they just give no creed to that whatsoever. But
Well, speaking of pain, you mentioned that fact.
Pain.
One thing that's also in the news that's getting a little controversy is that Anderson Cooper, he had one of the jurors call into his show. It was actually juror B37, as she's known as. She's under a firestorm a little bit right now because she admitted that after 22 days of being on the trial with the 6 women jurors, that they received a lot of pampering, apparently. They received mall trips, an excursion to watch fireworks after the 4th of July, mani and petties, dinners out on the town, And it cost bowling included, and it said it cost the Florida taxpayers over $33,000. And they also said that the entire trial cost the department $320,000.
Like their food every day was $1,000 a person or something.
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
like $1,000 a person. They were staying at the Marriott. They said that they kept everything really low key.
Real low
but
key.
yeah, real low key. And some of the facts, if you guys don't know this already, but it was an all females from the in the jury, 5 white women, 1 black/Hispanic woman. There were 4 alternates, 2 women and 2 men. But they're getting a lot of kind of pushback right now because of the money that was spent to keep these jurors kind of hidden. They said they spend a lot of time, or B37 says she spent a lot of time with the jurors watching movies and TV. Deputies were supposed to make sure that the women did not see or hear anything about the trial as they were watching television or read newspapers or looked at the internet. Their families could come visit them on the weekends, but the family had to sign agreements that when they came, they could not discuss anything with the case or give any type of information. Now, I think that's a hard thing to do, but I guess if they have deputies that are watching kind of 24 hours, maybe they can monitor it a little bit better. But
which is why I'm not mad at the whole taking them out. Because I mean, I would go crazy. 22 days.
Jury duty
like
sucks.
you made me miss. It does suck.
Yeah.
I've been called into it, but I always get dismissed. But I can just imagine having to sit through a trial, 22 days, and you have to have it's like jail
You're
almost to a
sequestered. You
extent.
can't do
yeah,
anything,
they said it's like
so-
jail, and I get it, and I do think that sure, if you're a juror and you're giving your time,
But not
for
with that verdict.
Yeah, I was gonna say. But if you're gonna do that, then give me some damn diverse jurors first of all, who can.
Right, like y'all
You know.
gave the Golden Girls a damn trip to the damn Radisson or wherever they stayed. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a lot of money that was spent for this trial.
It's never cheap.
It's never
Go to
cheap.
court.
Or yes, exactly. Now, on a positive note, we'll end on a positive story. One thing that came out of this that I am really happy to report is that radio personality Tom Joyner, we all know him. He's very popular. He actually is giving Rachel Jeantel, who we know is who testified in the trial, a opportunity to receive a full scholarship to any historically black university that she chooses upon her graduation. Joyner said in an interview that if she wants to graduate from high school and go to an HBCU, I want to help her to do her thing. And he said that, everything will be fully paid for by him.
Get it, Tom Joyner.
That's
a
dope.
great idea.
It's a great
I
idea.
Love it.
I hope she takes advantage of
do
it. I hope she
too.
goes. I actually hope she goes into like some type of media, like reporting.
She said she wants to go into, I think, criminal justice or law enforcement or something. So we'll see.
We'll see. Well, it's a huge thing.
Anybody paying for school, a great thing, girl.
Right.
Take him up on that. And I hope she's able to get it together and get back in school. Because they said she was like a B student before all this happened and things kind of went awry. And so hopefully she'll get back on track and graduate and
people hating on it.
do it in the name of her friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the haters, just close it up.
Go Tom Joyner. Good for you.
Yes.
All right, Courtney, where can your fans find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Stuart Starlitz.
Find
Jesse.
me at Twitter and Instagram at DJ Jesse J.
And you can find me at Daryl Kristen on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We will see you next week. Remember to go vote for the BuzzMeter question, which is, should President Obama have spoken out about the Trayvon Martin case? You go vote online at blackhollywoodlive.com. Let us know what you think, and we'll read the results on next week's show. Have a great weekend.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergarden, Phil Svitek, Daryl Kristen, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network. If you have questions or comments, tweet us at BHL Online or email us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. For more exclusive content, visit blackhollywoodlive.com. This has been a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network.
Hollywood redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.